Hey everyone, Eric Watson here, freelance writer, player of games, writer, boards, recorder videos, and tabletop role-playing aficionado. Welcome to the Thursday edition of my bi-weekly behind-the-scenes DM-only live stream, Crafting the Deep, which I build right and prepare for our next session of Call from the Deep. If you're playing characters Gottwald, Max Sabra, or Twirl, this video is not meant for you and will be full of spoilers. The rest of you are always welcome, of course. We stream our D&D sessions live on YouTube every Friday, except for this Friday. You can join our official Discord server with invite link in the description below. If you'd like to support the channel, let's check out patreon.com/RogueWatson for our campaign. We use Roll20 for streaming. I use OBS Studio. Once again, no game tomorrow, but I'm doing crafting streams, which gives me a chance to get ahead and talk about this massive, massive dungeon. We already explored level 3. Frankly, I don't think we're going to need but half of level 3, which is the arena, which you're going to have to fix and do next week, and then either the top left or top right, maybe both. I can certainly pull reinforcements from wherever I need, but also I don't really need to track, I don't think, like, carefully where reinforcements are coming from. They can always just kind of, you know, spawn from off screen as needed, and I'm going to be pretty conservative about using patrols anyway. It'll be, one or two instances of the players hiding somewhere or just not, having not interacted with anything for a while that a patrol can come by. I kind of think back to the Fate of the Night Serpent scenario. The last time we had a similar situation where the players were in a dungeon-esque location that did not require them to destroy every creature in there, though that one was mostly social-based, and this one there's really not a whole opportunity for socializing, at least with the enemy faction, but there are, of course, allies they can find, which they already found one in the dungeons. They'll get another one in the arena, assuming they can keep that Triton alive. We'll see if we can put the Lizard Folk Queen maybe on level 2, and then put a few Neverwinter prisoners on level 1. So I think level 2 is what we're going to focus on. I did finish doing dynamic lighting as well as sticking the proper numbers on all of the locations you can see on the amazing map art by Bear Gardner. Shout out to Bear. Be sure to check out his work at patreon.com/BearGardner. For all your Ghosts of Saltmarsh needs, especially my Ghosts of Saltmarsh needs, goodness, this is so much of a better map. All right, so I don't know if I want to start from the lowest number and work my way up. I guess it'd make the most sense, although it's really chaotic how they organized everything because we're not, and it doesn't help that the players aren't coming down from level 1, they're coming up from level 3, so that affords them going in even more out of order. But just for the sake of organization, let's start at room 20, which may be one of the later rooms they get to. So this is going to be the room that's actually submerged, that leads up to that level 1 that's currently being renovated. The area is quiet, empty, and peaceful. All right. So empty room. I guess I should actually put dynamic lighting on the pillars though, shouldn't I? Let's do a circle. These look like they should be somewhat sight blocking. And I guess part of the stairs could also be sight blocking, maybe. With stairs, I tend to use, because like the bottom of the stairs isn't, but maybe the top is. Let's see, we could do like maybe here to here would be a sight blocker. Something like that. Of course, I slightly angled it because I can't draw straight. But you should be able to see the bottom of the steps anyway. All right, what does that look like, Gottwald? We'll use your dark vision eyes to see. There we go. I think you can still tell that's a staircase. I guess if you were in the middle, you could look down. So maybe I should make them two-way. Or one-way, I guess. So one way. And then one way. And flip that direction. All right, now let's see if it works a little better. Yes, I think so. That's what I'm going for. Kind of. Whatever. Yeah, because that's lower down. Okay. Empty room. Always good to have empty room. Hey, bear. Showing off the map, as always. All right, so that's easy. Level 2 is empty. Room 20. Room 21, which jumps to the southeast. Over here. Which I don't think we'll need to use any of this bottom 25%, but we'll see. The Blade Master Makat, who is currently in the arena, I believe. In fact, does it say... let's see, is it under Stronghold? They talk about those who rule. Yes, right here. Those who rule the fortress oversee its armed forces and direct its worship of Sekala. The Baroness, the Baron, which are both in the throne room. I think the Baroness is a little bit on a side room. High Priestess, which is in the temple area, and then Blade Master Makat, who is currently in the arena. Hulking responsible for leading a Sahuagin army in the impending campaign. How do I tell the players that he's also a big assassination target? I guess the Triton would probably be better. Like, Borges has kind of been a joke character, frankly, but the Triton would be able to actually have good intel for them. And maybe he can report that this one character is like the general and would count as somebody they would need to assassinate. But that would be a tough one if he's currently in the arena. Now, what we can try to do is have time pass while they're in here, and if the current arena battle ends, you know, maybe he can be found in a different location, such as his quarters, which are otherwise empty. Yeah, President can be found in Area 53 watching the sport in the arena. Short recreation period. There is some treasure in here. I don't think there's much in the way of actual magic items in this dungeon that I've seen, but it's a lot of monetary treasure. All right, and then in 22, which goes to the other side, have I mentioned I hate the way this module is organized with the numbers. I could have redone the numbers, but that would be even more confusing for me. We're just going to keep it what it is. Champion's Quarters, which is also empty. Occupants of this room is presently in the throne room. So more things they can actually just unlock. 23. Finally has some enemies in it. Socializing and celebrating the forthcoming completion of the fortress. 2 champions and 2 priestesses. Okay. Show me the champions. I don't know why NPC AC doesn't work sometimes. In Roll 20. Hello, IXXX. Yeah, it's 16. Why don't you say 16? Alright. 2 champions. And 2 priestesses, which I really like the priestess stat block. So they've got... That's the one with like spiritual weapon and stuff. Yeah, spiritual weapon, hold person, guiding bolt. Holy shit, they have fear and mass healing word? Oh, these are stronger than the other priestess stat block then. Banishment. Banishment's a shitty spell though to use on a PC. Aha, now you're out of the fight. Like, okay. Don't even get to make saves or anything. I mean, everybody else obviously tries to target the person concentrating on the spell, which can make it a little bit fun, but like, man, I could go off on a rant on any spell that just straight up takes a player out of the fight is nasty, and especially the worst version of that is the one where they're like not even in the fight having anybody interact with them. Banishment is great for players to use against the DM's creatures, but as a DM, I think I would like... I don't know. I don't know if I've ever used Banishment before. You could say, like, well, we could use it on a summon or something, but... Or like an NPC ally, I guess, could be banished. Fear is a great spell, though. Fear is fantastic. I love Fear. Used Fear against the patrons in a boss battle recently. Hold Person. And Hold Person also takes them out of the fight, but at least it's more exciting because they're paralyzed and people are wailing on them. I think they get, or maybe they don't get to make an initial, they get to make the initial save, but I guess it's just concentration after that. And your AC is 14. Good amount of hit points for a spellcaster, too. Okay, there's also a coffer with some random loot in there. 24 is a big-ass room. What is that? Is that the one on the bottom? Yeah. Look at this one. Oh, this one's got pillars. We can do some more pillar stuff. In fact, we'll just take these and copy and paste them. Why is it all of a sudden when I'm control Ving, it I don't know. Can anybody figure out why this does this? Roll 20 automatically goes to the lower left of the map. It doesn't do it every time. God, it's so freaking annoying. I haven't figured out how to diagnose why it does it consistently when it does it, and then when it doesn't do it at all. It sounds like a Lewis Carroll poem. Let's see, level 2. So what is this area? Living quarters. 4 stone pillars support the ceiling. Full bed of seaweed all around the walls. Rising about 7 feet off the floor and perhaps 10 feet wide. Tables, dozens of Sahuagin are gathered here in small groups or floating to the seaweed beds. Okay. 25 Sahuagin, 5 coral smashers, and 3 champions occupy this large common living quarters. The weapons are close at hand. Uh-oh. I lost internet connection for a second. Are we back? What's going on, Fiber? Everybody give me a thumbs up if we're still streaming. Hopefully everything's okay. I think we're okay. That was scary. I hate it when it does that. But if I reconnect very quickly, I don't think we get a drop in service, so that was odd. Okay, thank you. Good news, nothing bad. Why is roll 20 with NPC AC like that? I don't know. That's also a bug that like just recently started. NPC AC used to work perfectly fine, but all of a sudden when I'm dragging things on there, it doesn't actually show up like it's supposed to. I've had to start fixing that. Alright, let's just go to... I think there's Sahuagin on this level. Yeah, we can use these guys. I've got more Sahuagin. For level 2. Control V, damn you. I have to control V so much. Alright, 24. It's 25 Sahuagin, 5 coral smashers. Is it really worth putting all these guys around here? I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 10. 15. Jesus, 25 is a lot. 20. I guess it is a 3-dimensional space, though. 25. Why does it jump around? 5 coral smashers. I feel like I'm just making ingredients to a delicious dungeon cake. Yeah, another one that doesn't have NPC AC correct. I don't know if it has something to do with just these. Let's grab one from Call from the Deep and see if it's correct. Let's grab... Let's see what's one from... Specifically from Call from the Deep. Yeah, that one's fine. Yeah, it's just ones that I drag from the modules that I've added manually. And it even says like NPC. Let's see if I... Like, what the fuck? Alright, what if we do this? This is tedious and not worth it, but... If we do that, save it, go back, and then tell it again with... Yeah, now it does it. Weird. It's just a stupid bug where it just doesn't show the number up the first time you drag it over. How very annoying. Almost as annoying as this bug that switches my screen every fucking time I control V. 3, 4, 5, and 3 Sahuagin champions, which we can copy and paste from over here. It's just a hilarious amount of enemies in this dungeon. But I don't think there's any reason for them to come down here. 25 is a hatchery with the swarms, and 26 another hatchery. Okay. So the sides are just where all the eggs are at. Which are full of priestesses and swarms. It's interesting. Huh. They're big, too. 3 Sahuagin hatchling swarms. Oh, okay. I wonder if there's an opportunity to use this stat block. That's kind of a different one. Yeah, literally a swarm of, like, baby Sahuagin. That's kind of messed up, though. Once it enters combat, the swarm deals 10 slashing damage to itself at the end of its turn if it did not make an attack this turn. They, like, cannibalize each other? Man, Sahuagin are hard fucking core. Yikes. Hopefully we can find a use for this stat block. Yeah, that AC thing is really annoying. So I'm constantly having to drag tokens on the map. 14. There's 2 swarms here, which are kind of on the GM layer, I think. Along with priestesses, so we're probably not going to use them in here. Priestesses. Might as well fill the dungeon now, but actually they're only in 26, looks like. All right, so that's the lower parts. That's the very lowest part. So, I mean, they can make it to area 20 without... In fact, you have to go through 20 to make it in these side rooms. So, yeah, they actually don't have a good way of, like, reconnaissance. I'm just thinking, though. They don't have, like, a familiar or a spell or something, other than just having somebody roll stealth checks. Which, I mean, Pass Without Trace makes it so you can damn near stealth around pretty effectively. Plus 10 is all but beating the best stealth without, or the best perception without rolling really terribly. But I don't think we're going to use 21 through 24. These side rooms are going to be optional, 27 through 30. Which is a barracks. Sahuagin Champion bears a squad of 12. So every single room is like, it's either empty or has 1 million people in it. There's no in between. Squad of 12 Sahuagin and 12 Coral Smashers patrol and guard duty. Wow. 28 has a single Wave Shaper. So let's grab... because that's a Coral Smasher. A bunch of Sahuagin. And a champion. Let's use you as my proto copy paste, because the least I have to copy and paste, the better. So that's in 27. Let's see. Coral Smashers. 12 Sahuagin and 12 Coral Smashers is fucking crazy. So really we copy and paste it again, but just delete the other Coral Smasher, I guess. Every single one of these rooms is going to be like, somebody's going to poke their head and be like, nope, I don't think so. Nope, I don't think so. These are barracks. I don't think Shark slept. Are they the weird creature that has to, like, constantly move a little bit? I don't want to badmouth sharks, man. Sharks been around for a long time. Nature figured that shit out, and they were like, yeah, no, sharks are good. It's just a missile with teeth. We can't do much better. We nailed it on the shark thing. Same thing with what, crocodiles? They've been around for like a hilarious amount of time. Basically dinosaurs. Nature's like, yeah, no, this is I think this works. We're good here. Everyone go home. That's still not even 12 and 12. 1, 2, what is that? 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Fuck, I could add another control V on here. Just keep pulling that lever. Or you just have Twirl pop his head into each one of these rooms and unleash goddamn Hunger Fadar. But there's going to be a never-ending amount of Sahuagin in here. You can never actually kill them. A single wave shaper. I don't think we've put a wave shaper on this map, so we'll have to drag you on here. Wave shapers do not have as cool of a stat block as I was hoping for. They have the one interesting whirlpool ability, I guess, but it also feels like it would fuck up fellow Sahuagin pretty bad. The only spells they have is message and comprehend languages, which is not exactly used in combat. They do a bunch of extra cold damage, I guess, when they attack. So, just stronger Sahuagin, I guess. 14 AC. But I definitely want them to fight at least one of them at some point. The main checkbox I want to make sure is that we throw at least one of each Sahuagin stat block at the party. So we've already fought the champion, obviously the basic Sahuagin. The Raider's actually part of Call from the Deep, so they're not in this module, but we could include them. And we've seen the Deep Diver. That was the head jailer. I don't think we've seen any of the other ones then. Coral Smasher we've seen, but I don't think the party actually formally fought a Coral Smasher, so I could still use them. And they're kind of a nice midway stat block. They're a little stronger than the lowest Sahuagin, but they don't have like crazy big abilities or anything. Basically just slightly higher of all the stats. Wave Shaper I do want to throw at them. High Priestess I want to throw at them. And then I guess they've already fought a Baron. And then the Blade Master, I'm not sure if he's a unique. Ooh, 20 AC. You wearing plate armor underwater, motherfucker? Okay. I guess if you have a swim speed, it doesn't matter, but damn. AC of 20 is pretty legit. Still has a Sahuagin Blood Frenzy and makes 3 attacks with a Wave Cutter Blade. Alright, alright. Is he literally the only Blade Master? Or is that when is he the boss fight? Because when are they going to be able to take him down? If he's currently in the arena, lounging, or maybe I use him as the, like the Big Daddy in Bioshock where he's roaming around. Although in the Big Daddy's cases, those were non-hostile until you started the fight. Shout out to Bioshock. Bioshock could be a cool fucking D&D dungeon idea, by the way. Yep, dudes on a map. Do Wave Shapers really care about their fellows? Well, the DM does, because the one thing I've got is numbers. And an AoE would not work in my favor when I have a shit ton of dudes. And they have to swim against it. Obviously, I would try to point it at the players, but I think the range on this thing is hilarious. 50 feet wide. 25 feet tall. The vortex is 5 feet wide, but I assume it's 50 feet wide at the top, which means anyone who's caught within 25 feet of the vortex. Okay, well, I guess it's not 50. Or yeah, it is 50 feet wide, right? Because you have a vortex. If it's 25 feet radius, then it's 50 feet wide. That math checks out. I can't math very well, but I think that one checks out. So what does that look like? A circle. 50 feet wide, 25 radius is that. That's pretty big. Hard to aim that. I guess you could aim it in a hallway at the party. But then that key, and like they're all, I don't know, it's tricky. Hopefully we can make a fun encounter that uses that one time. Let's see, 29. This is on the other side, I believe. Yep. Which is another barracks. It's literally like copy and pasted from the other one. Sahuagin Chamber has a squad of 12 and 12 Coral Smashers and Sahuagin. There's a squad of 6 Sahuagin and 6 Coral Smashers and 4 Deep Divers and 4 Shell Sharks for patrol duty. They treat intruders as hostile. No shit. 4 Sahuagin that are not part of the patrol are gambling on 2 lobsters fighting in a small net arena. Oh, that's where the lobster... That's where the lobster den is? In this random barracks room that the party would never go in? Okay. 38 champions quarters is a single Sahuagin champion. All right, well, let's just copy and paste most of these guys then. Actually, let's just fucking take all of them. Underwater plate mail. I do like the armored sharks, though. Although it sounds kind of stupid. You take nature's perfect killing machine and then weigh it down with armor. But you know what? It works. For some reason. Copy. Or no, we have the champion right here. Champion. Smashers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. I'm really not paying attention to the number of Sahuagin in here. There was deep divers and shell sharks, which for shell sharks, I have to say that word very carefully. It's easy to fuck it up. 1, 2. Shit, where's level 3? These maps are so big. There we go. There's my shell sharks. We're just using the hunter shark armor. If anybody can find a token of an armored shark, I guess I could use that. But I also think you can just mark it with a token and be like, hey, by the way, these sharks are armored. Not a big deal. We work on the little castle symbol. I'm also not putting numbers on these guys because that would be too tedious. Stick them over there. All right, 30's got the champion. There. Okay, so those are all just terrible rooms for the players, for being frank. Like, full of bad things. It's just not worth the loot to have to fight all these guys. And I don't want to have to operate this much of a 3D-dimensional space of combat. So probably not going to need actually half the rooms on level 2 either. We will use level 20, but there's no enemies there, and they can easily make their way to and from. Now, we can still have patrols going around throughout these very tight corridors, which could put the party in an interesting position, which I will force them at least once or twice to deal with a patrol, but we already have the patrol, which was where I think I've read it a million times by now. So Stronghold. I think it was a champion, Sahuagin, and then the Coral Smashers. Yeah. 5 Sahuagin, 1 Smasher, and 1 champion, specifically on level 2. So why don't we go ahead and grab those guys and make that our DM waiting room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Sahuagin, champion, and a Coral Smasher. Copy those guys. And then we'll just put them like here in the middle of the void. You've been sent to the void, boys. And that is going to be our patrol. We're going to make 2 sets. And then we can grab them, as we could break it up into different amounts of creatures if we needed to, but for now let's just roll hit points for everybody, and then we can unleash them whenever we need to as a patrol. All right, 31. Starting at 31, things should get more interesting. And then 37 is the room where we're really... And so far, I'm not changing anything, right? It's all pretty close to the book. In fact, the main thing I'm going to change is probably going to be room 37, which is the temple, to make it work with the Call from the Deep campaign. But they can explore the temple without exploring these side rooms. Also, I don't think these are... you might have to help me out on this, Bear. I don't think these are actually meant to be doors that open and close. I think they're just kind of archways. Maybe the description says that. I don't think doors really work underwater. At least, like traditional doors. I don't know. Dunkleosteus was an ancient armored fish. Big one at that. Dude, prehistoric fish are fucking sick. They are so cool. They're going to have a way to let the party know they should avoid certain areas because blending into the barracks is a TPK. Yeah. Well, I would recommend not blundering around. That would be my first recommendation. I mean, I don't want to give the players like baby gloves or anything. They're what, 7th level, and they know this place is crawling with bad guys. I've told them, well, it looks really cool when you zoom out too. Look at that. Over and over again that this place is lousy with Sahuagin and they're not supposed to be able to kill them all. I will be able to get them hints on the 3rd level, but I don't want my prisoner NPCs to be able to have necessarily all the information they need because they're prisoners. They wouldn't have been subject to all that. If I give them the telepathic lobster who knows everything, then that would be one way to give them all those hints. But that's going to be, I think, part of the challenge here is they don't know the layout. They're kind of guessing. I don't think the prisoners would have ever gone to level 2. I don't know, maybe, unless the Triton was brought before the throne room, which maybe he would have, and then maybe he recalls where it is, which would give them a big hint. But yeah, otherwise, I mean, it's a good question. I don't know how much information that I should give them. I feel like I've given them a lot. They do have the crude maps available, but those maps aren't annotated in terms of what room is what. So they've got like these maps here, which give you sort of a layout. At least this tells you like where the stairs are, although the Triton already told them, or the Morgus did. So once they're here, you can see stairs, connect. This does not show the secret room. Interesting. It shows them, let's see. It shows this path here going to the eatery. Now, if they rescue the queen, which I'm planning on putting in the temple, then the queen would know the entire layout. So that would be a big plus for them. Lucky for them, the stairs up are actually close, generally pretty close to all the areas they need to go. If the stairs from level 3 to 2 were like down here among all the barracks and shit, then yeah, I'd be a lot more worried. But they're actually fairly close. Now, they still won't know exactly where to go. But, I mean, I think that's just part of the challenge, is having to scout ahead and check that out. And deal with occasional patrols. There's not a lot of people wandering the halls themselves except for the patrols. Oh, thank you, Bear. You're getting on the door thing. I should have checked on where the doors section was. Where are you finding the information? Is that under Sahuagin Stronghold? Or the mission begins? Doors. There we go. I found it. All doors are 4-inch thick double doors made of dressed stone, 5-inch wide and 10 feet tall. Except where otherwise noted, each door has a handle consisting of a horizontal bronze. These are very descriptive doors. Horizontal bronze bars into the stone on each side of the door, about 4 feet above the floor. All doors open into the areas they border on metal casters that move along grooves cut into the stone floor. All right. There are indeed doors. All rooms are 20 feet high, except for certain rooms that are the big ones. Corridors are 15 feet high. Okay. And I guess the original only had doors in certain areas, which looks like, which I appreciate you marked them pretty clearly. So these are like those doors up here in 43 and 46. And it looks like all of these side chambers from the temple are doors. Are these leading into the temple themselves look like they're actually open archways, though? Is that correct? This would be number 37. Temple. As soon as it says it in the description. Look into the chamber. So you can look in there. It tells me it's open archways. So I think this is actually just open, but these are still doors. Okay. And I did draw the dynamic lighting open. Okay, so let's turn those into doors. No map key needed. All right, and these are, but none of them are locked, I think. I don't remember ever coming across a locked door. Scrolling through real quick and seeing. Archways, not doors. Okay. So door here. I'll zoom in a little bit more. I don't think there's a way to copy and paste the doors there. Just have to kind of put them everywhere. Door, 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 door. You get a door, you get a door. And then we gotta fix them up. This is something I didn't have to do a lot of in our last campaign, which was futzing around with maps. I did have to do some of it. There were certainly sections of the Realm of the Frostbane that didn't have maps at all, and then I made at least, I think, 2 custom dungeons. I did not build the maps. I had existing map art I could use, but I had to still put them together in Roll20. But nothing to the extent of this campaign, which is required a lot more, like, you know, dynamic lighting and doors and all that stuff. All right, so doors should be in place. I did put lighting in the temple. It did say this temple was lit somewhat, so I put some small lighting in there. Level 2, it doesn't denote that necessarily, like, this isn't like marked as a temple. I guess the lizard folk would have been able to tell them, like, hey, this is the throne room and this is our temple. Even though it's not depicted on the map. Because that stuff was the same, even though the Sahuagin are repurposing it. And they're going to be like, we had a bunch of, like, all these side rooms were, like, barracks and homes. And this was, like, our mess hall or eatery dining room thing. Royalty rooms up there. So I could give them that information. Based on the fact they have the map and they talk to lizard folk, they could have that information. All right, so level 2. 31, Priestess Quarters down here is empty. Coffer with money. 32, Priestess Quarters is empty. Coffer with some money. 33 is not empty. There's a walking priestess in here. Tending the armored plates of 4 shell sharks. Let's see, we've got lovely shell shark friends. That's a small room to put dudes in. This is the worst session to have the Control V bug because it's such a big map and I have to do this quite a bit. That's the priest. Or no, this is a priestess, not a high priestess. Those are 2 different stat blocks. I gotta be careful with that shit. All right. What was the one in 23? Did I mess that up also? Yeah, I did. Those are regular priestesses. High priestess is a lot stronger. Where is a regular priestess? There we go. That's where it is. Salvage operation has the regular Sahuagin, the Baron, and the priestess in it. Okay. So the High Priestess, I think, is reserved for the boss level priestess then. That makes sense. Whereas the others are the underlings. Well, the underlings are still pretty powerful. I think they still have... I think, is this the boss they fought in the salvage operation? Yeah, still has spiritual weapon, still has guiding bolt, still has mass healing word, and hold person. Fabulous. The High Priestess has like twice the hit points. Alright, so it's that one that's chilling over here. Boom. And go figure this AC is working. So that one's working fine. It's just the final enemy stat blocks that are fucking up the NPC AC thing. Okay, and there's loot in there. Basically, there is loot in like all these rooms at least. If they care to loot them. 34. I guess we go to the other side. Do those 3 rooms. Or wait, sorry, 30... No, I messed it up. The entire right side is empty. 31, 32, 33 is all empty. Move, people. 34 has a single priestess. Putting together shell shark armor. 35 is the prayer room. Oh man, that's a cool like effigy thing in there. Currently unoccupied. Consume rapture weed as a 1% chance. Coming up incapacitated and experience terrifying visions of an enormous shark devouring great amounts of prey. Excuse me, I had to sneeze very violently. Lord. I'm allergic to rapture weed. You guys want to smoke some underwater weed? See some crazy shit? 36, the High Priestess' quarters was currently not there because she is in the temple. All right, so most of these side rooms actually don't have much going on in there, which you can access them without accessing the temple, or you can go down the corridors and then access the main temple. All right, main temple, 37. This is where things get interesting. This is going to be a marquee room. One of, I think, 3 major sites of interactivity for the party in this dungeon, which is going to be the arena I guess 4 with the dungeon. Dungeon was number 1, arena number 2, temple number 3, and the throne room number 4. Those are 4 areas the players are going to have to throw down or get really creative with how they handle the situation, but otherwise will have to do basically expose themselves and battle enemies. So as written, they are performing a ritual with Sekola, which is the Sahuagin god. 3 chanting Sahuagin dressed in ceremonial robes, float near the altar. Arms raised toward the ceiling. Carvings of shark's eyes adorn the altar front. 2 large and squirming sacks flank the altar. A massive 2-headed shark. Its fins adorned with bands of pearl and gold swim in circles above the altar, which is the Maw of Sekola, which is a CR7 boss fight who does have legendary actions. I am not going to use this monster because we need to re-flavor the Sahuagin's Pantheon as written in Call from the Deep. They have renounced Sekola and instead worship essentially the Fathomless. I'm kind of tying it into Twirl's character, I guess, but that is the Kraken Slarkrathel, who has been taken over by an Elder Brain and the Mind Flayers. So it's a whole pyramid scheme, but the Sahuagin are at the bottom, and they are currently, I would think this could be a 2-part location. This could be the location where the Mind Flayers have a conduit where they can basically pass their messages and control to the Sahuagin. And really, it might be less mind control and more like we'll just pretend to be their god and then they'll follow us. Kind of simpler that way. I won't make any commentary there. And then it can also be the location where they are performing some kind of magical ritual thing that actually sinks the island. And maybe somehow they need to use the lizard folk queen for that. So I could also have a cool moment where she's like got some kind of magical. She'd have to be in some kind of stasis because lizard folk can't hold their breath for that long. So maybe she's got, I don't know, some kind of bubble or something going on in there, but they're like drawing out her energy or her powers or whatever to help like sink the entire island. And I like the idea that maybe the Lizard Folk Queen herself was able to raise this island, and help just because of her like ancient powers. And it's like maybe every queen, it's almost like the Black Panther thing where like you can be a badass, but then like once you're ascended to that level of royalty, you're actually given like supernatural powers above that, like befitting of your station. And the Sahuagin would never know that, but maybe the Mind Flayers know that or something. They're able to channel that power. So to that end, we can replace the Maw of Sekala, as much as this is a cool, unique creature, although a two-headed shark, I still think it's kind of dumb, with something different. And I really like the idea of using a powerful Chul as our conduit. We can just use a biological conduit that kind of acts as the like avatar of their god or something. Which there is even a Chul that is supposed to be like a Mind Flayer to Chul. That would be absolutely perfect. Let's see, it's got 3 Sahuagin priestesses in the room. I want this to be a major boss level battle for sure. So, oh, now see there, it didn't do the Control V thing. That's amazing. Ah, look at that. It stopped. Why? What did I do differently? I don't know. I don't understand. All right. So 3 Sahuagin priestesses from the ritual at the altar. The sack contains 10 Sahuagin hatchlings that are no threat and automatically slain if attacked. Okay, well that gives us a chance to use the hatchlings, although they're like sacrificing their young. That's pretty dark. Priestesses are a strange bunch in the average warrior's opinion and conduct some very noisy ceremonies in the temple. This must be just another one. Oh, okay, I see. So you can actually have a battle and it doesn't attract... Oh, that's interesting. Noise of common in this area does not attract attention from any other occupied areas. It's not all surprised to hear such noises. Okay. I don't know, though, man. The party can make a lot of loud noises with chatter and stuff. Well, Sekala swims menacingly overhead. 10 Sahuagin... Like, 10 Sahuagin hatchling stat blocks? Those hatchlings are large stat blocks already. I was thinking like one of each. Neutrals dire constant everyone in the temple. Glowing symbols. The wall designs glow with dim illumination because of an application of luminescent algae. So I guess I actually should put the lights up on the wall, maybe? But that could be a cool description. Bioluminescent algae. So it's a little bit lit up everywhere. Don't know how much light is this giving off. 2020. Okay, like a torch light. Oh, there you go. So that should be a very lit up room. Oh no, I hate plumbing things. Feel for you, Captain Mike. Oh, interesting. Now when I control V, it keeps bumping my journal entry up. That's bizarre. The ritual serves to placate and feed the Maw of Sekala. It must be performed for another hour before it is considered complete. Every 10 minutes, when the priest is sacrificed, they swag a hatchling. His blood rises and feeds the avatar. Alright, so as cool as that is to do like blood-related stuff, I don't think that's going to fit the theme I'm going for. Priests stop chanting only if they're attacked. The ritual must be maintained or their lives are forfeit. Creatures causing the 3 priests stop chanting. The Maw of Sekala descends and devours 2 of the priests immediately before attacking the party. Oh, I'm not going to... That's so lame. Remaining priestesses fight alongside the shark. Sekala and a single Sahuagin. The Maw of Sekala and a single Sahuagin priestess make for a hard fight for a party of 4 7th level characters. I'm calling bullshit on that. Bullshit. It's not a hard fight for a party of 4 7th level characters. Yes, the Maw is decently strong. Makes 2 attacks with a +8 to hit. 16 bite, 9 tail smash. Does have legendary resistance and has over 100 hit points. Only 12 AC though. And I mean, 2 of his legendary actions are kind of useless. Moving up to your speed. Probably not going to have to move around too much. You've got 50 foot and you don't have a disengage anyway. And then detecting, making a perception check. And feed costs 2 actions. Alright, that is kind of nice, though. He does like an AoE attack. But yeah, him and 1 priestess, I don't think is a hard fight for 4 7th level characters. For each additional character in the party, you'll have 1 more priestess to survive. Alright, so we need to vastly change what's happening in this room. And potentially even add more creatures. Certainly wouldn't kill off any of my priestesses. We like the idea of using, I think it was called the Uchulon. This dude from Monster Manual Expanded. There is a version in Call from the Deep, but I think this one was stronger and a little more interesting. Literally a mind-flared Chul. Yeah, a Chul that has an Illithid tadpole implanted in it, which is pretty fabulous, I think. Still CR7, though. Over 100 hit points, AC 17. Has a paralytic slime. Any creature that touches it or hits it with a melee attack within 5 feet takes poison damage and must succeed in a DC 13 con save or be poisoned. And if they are poisoned, they are paralyzed just from hitting it. Can potentially be paralyzed. That is every melee character saying, oh, fuck you, DM. You can repeat the save at the end of each turn, though. Makes 2 pincher attacks. Now, I could even make it more of a boss fight, because the Maw, if I really want to make things equal here, had limited legendary resistance and had legendary actions, if we really want to turn this into a proper boss fight. Also, where the fuck is the High Priestess? I thought she was in here. How is she not in here? Do we need to move her in here? I need to find her. Where the fuck is the High... I thought for sure the High Priestess was in here. Scrolling along. Banquet Hall. Throne Room. She's in the Throne Room. I don't like that. Yeah, I don't like... I'd rather separate my bosses. The Baron sits on the throne with Thodra stands at his side, which that's the High Priestess, yeah. Now that could get pretty fucking crazy, though. Maybe I should back off on making him a legendary thing if we had the High Priestess to the fight. But I think she should be here. She should be in charge of the temple. Yeah, I'm moving her. I think she's going in the temple. Maybe we can find some kind of art to put in the middle of this room to make it look... We need some kind of, I don't know, arcane bubble looking thing. I'll be able to find something on Roll20. There's a ton of options. What I'm picturing is the party comes in and they see the priestesses all working to maintain this ritual that like draws the power from the Lizardfolk Queen, who's currently like in stasis essentially. And then the High Priestess is there in charge of it. And then this giant Uchulon thing is just kind of looking on and maybe providing like instructions or something. And it just speaks. It has no basically will of its own. It's literally just an avatar of the Elderbrain Mind Flayers and speaks with their voice, or whoever's like, I guess, controlling it at the moment. Gawel's going to wrestle that thing and get paralyzed. Gawel does have a pretty good con save, though. He would have to really shit the bed to fail a DC 13 con save, I think. So if we're doing that, I think that's going to add a lot more dynamic things to the fight. Because we can use the High Priestess stat block. I mean, this really feels like almost the end boss fight. But I don't know if it is, because they could end up here first thing, or they could end up here towards the end. I don't know the order of events here. And it does say that they don't aggro any other fights from in here. So that is the High Priestess. Let's actually give her the name. High Petrus. High Priestess Thadra. Which has over twice as many hit points as a normal priestess. So we move you there. Hell, we can even throw some shell sharks in here. We could make this a really big boss fight. Because if they play their cards right, that's the only battles they have to do, right? They had to do the dungeon battle. They'll probably have to do something with the arena, but maybe they can be clever and not. This will be a big fight. The Baron Throne Room will be a big fight. And then other than that, it's basically just any other aggro stuff that you get into. In terms of patrols or dropping into a room. I guess, I take it back. They will have one fight going from level 3 to level 2, right? They have to either fight that upper left room that has the shell sharks, the upper right room that's got some Sahuagin in it. And then they'll most likely have to fight at least one battle when they run upstairs to free the slaves that are on level 1. The stairs right there, there will be some bad guys there and actually be an above water battle. Also have to figure out how their egress is going to happen because they will be like chased by Sahuagin like crazy, but maybe we can have some kind of thrilling climax where their ship shows up and picks them up and all this stuff. Or maybe having disrupted all this temple stuff that throws everybody in disarray and all the Sahuagin are like momentarily paralyzed or something. I don't have a unique... I may try to find a token. Let's see. Let's just search Lizard. I know we can use the Lizard Queen stat block, although we also kind of used it when Gottwald paddled a Lizard Folk. It did not go well. The Lizard Folk Emperor. That's got to be like really high stat block. Yeah, CR6. What is this from? Monster Manual Expanded 2. Has an Abyssal Breath with poison damage. Frighten foes. Trident. What I would love to do is give the players a chance to free the Lizard Folk Queen, and then she can join the fight, although she wouldn't have a weapon on her, but maybe she would have some kind of power. But I'll have to see if there's a stat block I can use, or if I need to use my own. The champions, CR5. Legendary actions, they're all melee based. I was kind of hoping for more supernatural. So far, the Emperor's pretty close. So Lizard Folk Sub-Chief from Ghosts of Saltmarsh. Okay, this one's got spells. It's only a CR3, though. Summoning a Spectral Jaw. 5d8 piercing damage, huh? Hold person, silence, bestow curse, dispel magic, thaumaturgy, command, guiding bolt. Feels pretty good. Maybe we could combine that with the Lizard Queen. Because that would be a cool, like, additional objective for the party to deal with in the temple is like, oh, maybe we can actually disrupt this ritual. Which maybe it's something like literally disrupting the concentration of the Sahuagin priestesses. Maybe one of them always has to like concentrate on it or something. And then doing that, they can potentially free the queen. I'll have to come up with the rules for that. So I don't think the basic shaman is probably only like a CR2. Yeah. That's a druid that can change into a crocodile. Not exactly what I'm looking for. The basic one for the Monster Manual, Lizard Queen, is literally what I used to battle Gottwald in the duel, which was not very impressive, but CR4, 78 hit points, AC of 15. I may just take this stat block and give it the spell casting of, what did I look at? The Sub-Chief, maybe? Yeah, so like crank up the mental stats, at least the wisdom. And then I can come up with my own Lizard Folk Queen. Have the priestesses run and turn into a fight later while the party fights the Uberchul. If I need to, yeah. It's... Am I throwing too much at them, we think, for a middle of a dungeon? Or maybe... Potentially, again, I don't know what the final boss fight is going to be. This is kind of set up to be a final boss fight, but technically they could do this, you know, early on and still have to deal with the Baron and rescue other people. What I don't know to do is if I should give the Uchalan legendary actions like the Maw of Sekala has. But yeah, each priestess can be pretty powerful. They've got guiding bolts. They're physically not very strong, 30 hit points and 12 AC, but they can each do a guiding bolt. They can summon the trident and do hold person. The priestess can stay around for a little bit longer. I'd probably give her more hit points since she's named. Make her more of a legit boss fight. She can cast Fear, Mass Healing Word, and all the other same spells, but Banishment I would probably not use. And the Uchalan is just a pretty strong tank with paralyzing skin. Oh, he does have Mind Blast, though. Fuck. That's something I gotta be careful with. A 90-foot cone. You know how fucking far a 90-foot cone is? If only I had a tool where I could show you. Cone. I guess the degree is up to me on what I want to make it. 90 is stupid. This is stupid. I mean, what the fuck kind of range is that? Like, that's covering everything. I guess he still has to point it in a certain direction, which you could make it wider. Yeah, it's really dumb how far that is. That's huge. But this is going to be a major site, so we need to spend... You know, I kind of did a montage of all the other sites. This is going to be probably the single biggest area of this dungeon in terms of a battle. And it can definitely be nasty. God, so he can paralyze with his slime or stun. Paralyze with his slime touch, just not even him doing anything, it's just them attacking him. Or he can stun with Mind Blast. Those two can really put the party on their ass, so I got to be careful about using the Mind Blast specifically. That might be like a one-time thing that he does. But all these things together could be real fucking bad. But like I said, if they can free the Lizardfolk Queen, she could join in the fight. And even if she doesn't have her weapons, then I can give her some decent spell casting. Hell, even her casting silence on herself would be pretty useful. The problem is, I think once her thing is gone, I would either have to say she either has like a Necklace of Adaptation, which maybe the Sahuagin did give her, which is probably the easiest thing to do. Actually, that's probably what I will do. Or she's in her containment is what allows her to not have to breathe the water. But maybe as soon as you free her, but that would be too much of a pain in the ass. I guess they have ways of giving her a potion of water breathing or something, but we could just say she's got a Necklace of Adaptation because the Sahuagin would have to give that to her. And maybe there's like, I don't know, spectral chains. Because it has to be some kind of magical ritual that they're doing to keep her in place, but I'm liking that. So yeah, it's gonna be a big one, and I'll see if I can find a token and some art to kind of put it together, just because this is the one, probably the only room I'm really modifying from the original, which is nice. I don't have to actually change too much to make it work in Call from the Deep, because I think the throne room and all that will basically be the same, but I did move the priestess. That makes sense to me to put her in the temple, so I'll either add more to the throne room, or maybe I'll back off and just say it's one fewer Sahuagin. So, all right, I think that is going to do it for this Thursday edition of Crafting the Deep. As always, if you enjoy the content, please do check out patreon.com/RogueWatson. Shouts to Platinum patrons Joe, Will, Thomas, Dan, Brandon, Zensider, Eclectic Roleplayer, Roll, Christopher, Corey, Big Nut, John F, John L, Eric, Tyler, Nathan, Camp Crystal, Counselor, Andrew, Delda, Reldron, Captain Woody 79, Stephanie, Andy, Patrick, Jason, Ismail, Amit, Lumpy Spuds, Sharni, David, William, and Amnesiac. Gold patrons, RPG, Papercraft, Spree Boy, and Yuma, Lizard Lion, Sam, Jerome, Nathan, Fast Like a Tortoise, Scott, Rufus, Carolyn, Jerry, Glenn, Marcus, and Mark. Thank you all very much for your support. Again, no D&D tomorrow, but I'll be back with another crafting on Monday.